Welcome to Epic Mini Wars. In this 400-point Star Wars Armada battle report, we have General Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Galactic Republic versus Admiral Motti and the Galactic Empire. Let's take a look at the fleets.
The Republic fleet, led by Obi-Wan Kenobi, consists of a Venator 1 class Star Destroyer with Intensify Firepower, Local Fire Control, Flak Guns, DBY-827 Heavy Turbo Lasers, and the Tranquility title. A Pelta class Transport Frigate with Adi Gallia, Reactive Gunnery, the TB-73 title, and Munitions Resupply. Consular class Charger C-70 with Clone Captain Zack, and an Acclimator 2 class assault ship with swivel mount batteries, thermal shields, ordnance experts, and assault proton torpedoes. Its squadrons are Kickback, Axe, and 2 V-19 Torrent squadrons for a total of 396 points. Its objectives are advanced gunnery, volatile deposits, and fleet in being. The Imperial fleet, led by Admiral Motti, consists of Imperial Star Destroyer Simoon refit with flak guns, Intensify Firepower, Local Fire Control, linked turbo laser towers, and a skilled first officer, an Imperial 2 class Star Destroyer with reactive gunnery, Local Fire Control, skilled first officer, point defense ion cannons, flak guns, and linked turbo laser towers, Gazanti class cruisers with Comsnet, Hondo Onaka, and expanded hangar bay, and the squadrons Colonel Jendon, Morna Key, and Merrick Steele for a total of 400 points. The fleet's objectives are Solar Corona, Contested Outpost, and Advanced Gunnery. Having the lower point total, the Republic chooses to be the first player, and chooses the Contested Outpost objective. Most of the obstacles are placed to one side of the map, with just the station and the debris field on the other side. The Acclimator is deployed first at speed 1, facing the station. The ISD-2 is deployed on the table edge, going speed 2. The 2 generic V-19s are deployed by the Acclimator. The Simoon is also deployed on the edge of the table at speed 2, facing the station. Axe and Kickback are deployed on the starboard side of the Acclimator. The Gazanti cruisers are deployed in between the Star Destroyers, going speed 2. The C-70 Charger is deployed in the middle of the map, going speed 3. Merrick Steele and Morna Key are deployed near the station. The Pelta is deployed off the port side of the Acclimator, going speed 2. Colonel Jendon is deployed with his fellow Imperial squadrons. And finally, the Tranquility is deployed on the starboard side of the Acclimator, going speed 2. At the start of the ship phase, the Imperial player discards Hondo Onaka. The Empire takes an engineering token on the ISD-2 and a concentrate fire token on the Simoon. The Republic gains a navigate token on the Acclimator and a squadron token on the Tranquility. The Acclimator reveals an engineering command and chooses to take it as a token. It then moves ahead at speed 1. The Gazantis reveal a navigate command and choose to take it as a token. The flotilla then moves ahead at speed 2, displacing Morna Key, Colonel Jendon, and Merrick Steele. Pelta activates, revealing an engineering command, and takes it as a token. It also exhausts munitions resupply, giving a concentrate fire token to the Tranquility and itself. It then moves ahead at speed 2. Simoon activates, revealing a navigate command, which it takes as a token. It then moves ahead at speed 2. The Tranquility activates, revealing a navigation command, which it takes as a token. It then makes a slight turn to port at speed 2. The ISD-2 activates, revealing a navigation command, which it takes as a token. It then makes a slight turn to port, going speed 2. The C-70 activates with a navigate command, which it chooses to take as a token, and then moves ahead at speed 3. Starting off the squadron phase, the 2 generic V-19s are moved forward. The Imperials then move Colonel Jendon and Morna Key onto the station. Kickback moves to the front of the V-19 formation, while Axe brings up the rear. Merrick Steele joins the other Imperial squadrons on the station. The Imperials have 4 command on the station, scoring 20 points. At the start of the ship phase, the Pelta uses its Concentrate Fire token to refresh munitions resupply. To start off round 2, the Acclimator activates with a Concentrate Fire command which it takes as a token and then moves ahead at speed 1. The Xantes activate, revealing a Squadron command which they choose to keep as a command. The Imperial Squadron Ball moves up to engage the V-19s. Morna Key fires on Kickback and uses her Brace token to reroll 1 die. The Brace is accuracied, and the other Brace is spent to reduce the damage to 1. Then Axe spends 1 of his defense tokens to reduce the other damage. Next, Merrick Steel fires on Kickback, getting 3 hits and an accuracy. The accuracy is used on Kickback's Brace. Axe spends 1 of his defense tokens to reduce the damage by 1, and Kickback takes 2 damage. Colonel Jendon's ability allows Merrick Steel to attack Kickback a second time, getting 2 accuracies and 2 hits. Both braces are accuracied. Axe spends 1 of his defense tokens to reduce the damage by 1, and Kickback takes 1 damage. The Xantes then use their Navigate token to change to speed 1, and move ahead at speed 1. Pelta activates with a Navigate command which it takes as a token. It then moves ahead at speed 2. The ISD-2 activates, revealing a Navigate command which it keeps as a command, and then fires its front guns into the front of the Pelta. The Imperial player realized the obstruction after the die roll and agreed to remove the crit. And then after an LTT reroll, the result was 1 accuracy, doing no damage to the Pelta. The ISD-2 reduces its speed to 1 and then rams the Xantes in front of it, dealing them 1 damage. The Venator activates with a Squadron command, which it uses to activate 3 squadrons. A V-19 moves into range of Merrick Steel and opens fire. It scores 4 hits, which Merrick Steel braces to 2 and takes 2 damage. Another V-19 moves into range of Merrick Steel and commences firing. A cocked die is rerolled, and then Swarm rerolls the crit into 4 hits, which Merrick Steel braces to 2 and takes 2 damage. Axe then moves up into range of Merrick Steel. Axe rerolls an accuracy with Swarm and ends up with 2 hits, which Merrick Steel braces to 1 and takes 1 damage. The Venator then flaks out its front with all 3 Imperial squadrons in range. Firing at Merrick Steel, the Tranquility misses. Firing on Morna Key, the Tranquility scores 2 hits, which Morna braces to 1 and takes 1 damage. It then fires on Colonel Jendon and misses. The Tranquility then moves ahead at speed 2. The Simoon uses Skilled First Officer to discard its top command dial and then reveals a Concentrate Fire which it keeps as a command. Firing its forward guns into the front of the Tranquility, the Simoon then adds a die with Concentrate Fire and rerolls a die with linked turbo laser towers, resulting in 4 hits and 3 crits. The Tranquility then spends its Brace, reducing the damage to 4, and its Redirect triggering Obi-Wan to reduce the damage to 3. Using its Redirect, the Tranquility loses 3 starboard shields. Using its Salvo Defense token, the Tranquility fires back on the Simoon, getting 2 crits, which the Simoon braces and redirects, taking 1 damage on its starboard shield. The Simoon uses its Navigate token to reduce its speed to 1 and then moves ahead. The C-70 activates, revealing a Navigate command, which it uses to increase its speed to 4 and then moves forward. In the Squadron phase, Axe is activated, targeting Merrick Steel. He is able to get the 1 damage needed to destroy Merrick Steel. Imperials still have 3 command on the station, gaining 20 points.
Enjoying this Star Wars Armada battle report? Then don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Now, let's get back to the action.
At the start of round 3, both fleets activate Intensify Firepower. The Tranquility activates, revealing an Engineering command, which it uses to regenerate 2 starboard shields. It then uses its Squadron token to activate Kickback, who targets Morna Key. After a swarm reroll, he gets 1 hit, doing 1 damage to Morniki. Morna counters back with 1 blue die, but the damage is cancelled by Axe spending a defense token. The Tranquility fires its forward guns into the front of the Simoon. After a Intensify Firepower modification, it does 2 damage. The accuracy is spent to stop the salvo defense token. The Simoon braces and redirects. Losing 1 shield on the port side. The Tranquility then moves ahead at speed 2. The Gazantes activate, revealing a squadron command, which they keep as a command, activating Morniki, who targets Kickback. After spending her defense token to reroll, Morniki ends up with 1 hit, which Axe spends his last defense token to cancel. Colonel Jendon is then activated, using his ability to make Morniki fire again. Targeting Kickback again, she gets 3 hits, which is enough to destroy him even after a brace. The Gazantes fire their forward guns into the port side of the Tranquility. They score 1 hit. Tranquility uses its title to redirect its 2 rear shields to the side and takes 1 damage on the port side shields. The Gazantes then fire their port guns into the port side of the Tranquility, again scoring 1 hit, and the Tranquility once again uses its title to move 2 shields from the starboard side to the port side, going up to 6 shields and then taking 1 damage on the shields, dropping to 5. The Gazantes then move ahead at speed 1. The Acclamator activates, revealing a Concentrate Fire command. It then assigns swivel mount batteries to its front arc. It chooses to keep the Concentrate Fire as a command, and fires with its forward guns into the front of the Simoon. The Acclamator uses its Concentrate Fire command to add in a black die. It then uses Ordnance Experts to re-roll the 2 black dice, searching for a crit. Then with Intensify Firepower, it changes the blank black die to a single hit. With a total of 4 hits, 1 crit, it uses its accuracy to block the salvo defense token. The Simoon spends its redirect defense token. The Acclamator uses its special critical effect, Assault Proton Torpedoes, to deal a critical damage to the Simoon, and it is a structural damage which deals 1 additional damage to the ship. Using its redirect, the Simoon takes 2 damage on its starboard shields and the remaining 3 on its front shields. Using its Navigate token, the Acclamator increases its speed to 2 and moves ahead, displacing Axe and a V-19 Torrent. The 2 squadrons are placed at the rear of the ship. The Simoon activates, revealing a Concentrate Fire command, which it chooses to keep as a command. The Simoon fires its forward guns into the port side of the Tranquility. It then uses its Concentrate Fire command to add in a blue die, and then uses Link Turbo Laser Towers to re-roll the blank red. Intensify Firepower then sets the blank red die to a hit. The accuracies are spent to block brace and redirect, and the Tranquility chooses to use its salvo defense token. The Tranquility uses its title to move 1 shield from its front to its port side, increasing its port to 6 shields before it takes the 8 incoming damage. After losing its 6 port shields, the Venator takes a critical hit, which is thrust control malfunction, and then it takes 1 other damage to its hull. Taking its salvo shot, the Tranquility uses DB-Wise and Intensify Firepower to increase its result to 2 hits and 2 crits. The Simoon spends its Redirect token, moving 2 of the damage to its starboard shields, taking another damage on its front shields, and then the critical effect Ruptured Engines. It then moves ahead at speed 1, ramming the Tranquility, dealing a damage to both ships. The C-70 activates, revealing a Concentrate Fire command which it keeps, and fires its port guns into the front of the Simoon. The C-70 uses its Concentrate Fire to add another red die, and Clone Captain Zack adds a second red die, a result of 4 hits and 2 crits. The Simoon spends its Brace token to reduce the damage to 3, but then takes the critical effect structural damage, increasing the total damage from the attack to 4. The Simoon also spends its Salvo defense token, firing back on the C-70 with red, blue, blue. It uses Link Turbo Laser Towers to reroll the red, and Intensify Firepower to set one of the blue dice to a hit. It spends its Accuracy to lock down the C-70's Evade. The C-70 spends its Redirect using Obi-Wan to reduce the damage by 1. After losing 1 port shield, the C-70 then makes a turn to port at speed 4. The ISD-2 activates with a Concentrate Fire command, then fires its forward guns into the front of the Venator with a long-range shot. It uses its command to add a red die, and then chooses to Accuracy the Brace. The Tranquility spends its Redirect and Salvo tokens, triggering Obi-Wan's ability to reduce the damage by 1. Using its Redirect, the Tranquility pushes the remaining 3 damage to its front shields. Salvoing back, the Tranquility uses DBYs to modify its result to 2 crits, which the ISD-2 braces and redirects, taking 1 damage on its starboard shields. The ISD-2 then turns to port at speed 1, overlapping the debris field and taking 2 damage on its rear shields. Pelta activates, revealing a Concentrate Fire command which it keeps, and then fires its forward guns in an obstructed long-range shot at the Simoon. Concentrate Fire adds an additional red dice for a total of 2 hits and a crit. The Simoon chooses to use its Salvo defense token. The crit is another Ruptured Engine, and the Simoon takes 2 additional damage to its hull. The Salvo attack on the Pelta results in a hit and a crit, which the Pelta evades one of the dice and uses Obi-Wan's effect to cancel the second damage. The Pelta also exhausts munitions resupply to give a Concentrate Fire token to the Tranquility. It then performs an inside turn to port at speed 2. In the squadron phase, Axe and another V-19 move up to engage the Imperial squadrons. The remaining V-19 attacks Morna Key. It gets 2 hits and an accuracy, dealing 2 damage to Morna. The Imperials still have a greater amount of command on the station and maintain control, scoring 20 points. At the start of the ship phase, the Republic spends a Navigate token to unexhaust munitions resupply, the Concentrate Fire token on Clone Captain Zack to unexhaust him, and a Concentrate Fire token to activate Intensify Forward Firepower. The Empire discards Intensify Firepower to also activate its effect. The C-70 activates with a Concentrate Fire command, which it keeps and fires its forward guns into the port side of the Simoon. Using its Concentrate Fire, it adds a red die for a total of 3 damage and accuracies the redirect. The Simoon uses its Salvo defense token. The Salvo shot on the C-70 is modified by Intensify Firepower to become 2 hits and a crit. The C-70 spends its Redirect token, and Obi-Wan Kenobi reduces the hit total to 2. Redirect moves the 2 damage to the C-70's starboard shields. The C-70 spends a Navigate token to reduce its speed to 3. It then performs a port turn, ramming and destroying the Simoon refit. The Gazanti cruisers activate with a Concentrate Fire command that they keep and target the Venator with their side guns. It spends its Concentrate Fire command to add a second blue die, which totals 2 hits. The Tranquility braces, reducing the damage to 1, and then spends its Redirect with Obi-Wan to reduce the damage to 0. The Gazantis then fire out their other side at the front of the Pelta, which takes 1 damage on its front shields. The Gazantis then ram the Acclamator, doing 1 damage to themselves. The Acclamator activates with a Concentrate Fire command, which it chooses to keep as a command, and fires its forward guns into the front of the ISD-2. It uses a Concentrate Fire command to add a black die. It then uses Swivel Mount batteries to add an additional black die. Then it uses Ordnance Experts to re-roll 2 of the black dice. And then Intensify Firepower converts the blank red die into a hit. The accuracy is spent to lock down the ISD's brace. the ISD spends a redirect and salvo defense token. The Acclamator uses its Assault Proton Torpedo's crit effect to deal 1 face-up damage card to the ISD, which is Thrust Control Malfunction. It then redirects 2 damage to its port side shields, taking 4 more damage on its front shields, and then 2 damage to the hull. The salvo shot on the Acclamator results in 2 hits and an accuracy. The accuracy is spent to lock down its brace, the redirect is spent, reducing the damage by 1. The remaining hit is moved to the starboard shields. The Acclamator then rams the Gazanti cruisers, destroying them. The ISD-2 reveals a concentrate fire command and fires its forward guns in a long-range shot at the Tranquility. The ISD fires 4 red dice, uses concentrate fire to add 1 more red die, and then uses linked turbolaser towers to re-roll the blank, resulting in 4 hits and a crit. Tranquility spends its base token to reduce the damage to 3 and spends its salvo token. The Tranquility takes 3 damage to its hull, one of which is the crit shield failure. The salvo back on the ISD modified by DBYs for a hit and a crit, which the ISD uses a brace and redirect on, moving 1 shield to the starboard side. The ISD then fires starboard guns at the front of the Pelta in an obstructed shot. It uses Intensify Firepower to change 1 blue die to a hit, and accuracies Pelta's brace. The Pelta spends a redirect, reducing the damage with Obi-Wan, and an evade to activate reactive gunnery, getting a salvo attack. The 1 damage is redirected to its side. The salvo shot on the ISD is modified by Intensify Firepower to be 1 hit, and then re-rolled with point defense ion cannons. It still results in 1 hit. The ISD loses its last starboard shield. The Republic player allows the Empire to have used their engineering token to recover 1 shield on the front of the ISD. The ISD spends a navigation token to increase its speed to 2 and makes a turn to port, overlapping Colonel Jendon and Warnicki. Pelta activates, revealing a Concentrate Fire command, which it keeps as a command, then spends its engineering token to recover 1 shield on its front. The Pelta fires its front guns into the rear of the ISD. The ISD spends its brace token to reduce the damage, and uses point defense ion cannons to reroll the black die to a blank, taking 2 damage to the hull. The Pelta then fires from its side into the rear of the ISD, using the Concentrate Fire command to add a black die. Point defense ion cannons is used to re-roll the double, which is still a double. The ISD takes 4 damage, including the crit coolant discharge. The Pelta moves ahead at speed 2, ramming the rear of the ISD, dealing 1 damage to the hull of each ship. It also overlaps the debris field, causing 2 damage to its starboard shields. The Tranquility reveals an engineering command, which it keeps as a command and uses to regenerate 2 shields on its port side. The Tranquility fires its port guns into the front of the ISD. Point defense ion cannons re-rolls the hit crit black die, but doesn't change the result. The ISD then spends its salvo defense token. In a salvo shot, the ISD gets a hit and an accuracy. It uses linked turbo laser towers to re-roll the red die, and then sets it to a hit with Intensify Firepower. Tranquility takes 2 damage on its port shields. While its attack was enough to destroy the Star Destroyer, it then uses a Navigate token to reduce its speed to 1 and moves ahead. The Republic destroyed all of the Imperial ships for 400 points, plus 1 victory token for a total of 420 points. The Empire destroyed Kickback and got 3 victory tokens for a total of 76 points.
Despite taking pretty heavy damage on the Tranquility, the Republic was able to pull out a pretty epic victory there, destroying the entire Imperial fleet, and showing off the defensive strengths of both the Obi-Wan Kenobi Commander and the Tranquility title. I think the Empire, if they hadn't got that Gazanti in the way and could have gotten both of their Star Destroyers in on the Venator right away, might have been able to actually chew through the defenses of that ship and maybe gotten a closer score or maybe even pulled out a victory for the Empire. Thanks for watching, and again, if you have any suggestions for how to make these videos better, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them because, again, this content is for you. And until next time, this is Evan for Epic Mini Wars.